Hi, curious people. I am happy to share a little bit of a lower leg, ankle, and foot release with you today. My name's Tessa. I'm a teacher at our yoga space in Kelowna, BC, and I'm really happy to be sharing one of my favorite calf stretches with you, as well as getting into the feet and the ankles. So as we're changing footwear to more of our heavy boots. Maybe this also includes you if you have a lot of winter activities, if you snowshoe, ski, snowboard, cross-country ski, and then save this because when we go back into our other outdoor activities in the spring and summer, this can be so great for hiking and water sports as well. So no wrong time to do this. If you would like a little bit more comfort in this experience today, you could have a pillow or a bolster or even blocks, because we will be leaning on our forearms for a period of time. And there is a way to make some of the foot stretches potentially more comfortable with using props. If you don't have any of these, do your best and that'll be just enough. So get yourself set up if you have some props that you'd like, a little extra padding under your knees. I have 2 mats here under my knees, but you take care of yourself in the way that you need to. So to start, we're gonna turn to face the end of the mat, maybe with your bolster, and we're gonna come right down onto the elbows. I like this because it saves the wrists and you can fully focus on what you're doing in your lower legs. So walk your knees back a little bit and then lean forward into your arms. This opens up the back of the knee. You're gonna take the right leg up and tuck your right knee into the very back of the left knee, at the highest part, the widest part even of your left calf. Make sure your left toes are pointed out behind you and they're not tucked under. Now I'm gonna start to push my weight back so my right kneecap digs into the left calf muscle. And then I'm just going to lever my right foot up and down so this digs my kneecap into the back of my left calf. Now naturally, the kneecap is going to slide down the leg to potentially the more narrow space. So you can walk the arms back as you go and then keep pushing your weight back so that you can control the pressure of the right kneecap. So I'm going to lever up and down a few times and travel down the leg towards the ankle. Be very gentle around your Achilles tendon, which is the narrow part at the back of your ankle. And then I'm going to travel back up. And I'm going to move my kneecap around a little bit. And if I find a really juicy spot, I'm just going to pause and hold and then push into my arms a little bit to change the pressure. This can feel like foam rolling. This can feel like a bit of a massage. So it can go through many levels of sensation and intensity. Remember to breathe. And then keep going. Keep massaging your right kneecap against your left calf. And then work your way down the other edge. Maybe you started on the inside line of the left calf. Now you're going to start on the outside line of the left calf. You're going to work your way down and work your way back up. And I find this very personal as to how long you want to spend. So don't feel like you have to overdo it. It's actually better to do these in short bursts more frequently through your week. When you're ready to release, you're going to lean forward, slide your right knee to meet the left. You can keep using your bolster and just sink back for a moment, taking the pressure off your arms into a little modified child's pose. Take a deep breath in and then sigh the breath out. Coming back up over the wrists, over the elbows, onto your props, or just elbows straight onto the floor is great as well. Lean forward enough that it opens up the knee and we'll switch legs. So left kneecap behind the right kneecap. Dig your kneecap into your calf muscle and then start to lever your left foot up and down. So as you hinge the knee is going to start to migrate. Go to the inner edge, the outer edge. If it feels good, just go straight down the middle of the calf. Again, careful around the ankle and lean back to control the pressure. So you can push through the arms more or less as you need to. Put your knee on different angles. There's always a little bit more insight going into the second side of something. Not that the two sides of the body are the same, but you might get a little bit more curious or adventurous on this side. Try and go down the inside edge, the outside edge of the leg. If there's a juicy spot or a spicy spot, whatever your experience is, isn't wrong. Just pause and hold. Take a couple big breaths. And then work your way around the back of that right leg as evenly as you can. Let's give it another few breaths. Remember that the toes are pointed back and the ankle and shin bone are attempting to lie flat on the floor. So as we massage the back of the leg, we're actually creating some lengthening in the front of the leg, getting an extension through the top of the foot and the front of your shin. When you feel complete with the second side, lean forward, tuck your knees back together, and just sit your hips back. Drop your shoulders, drop your head. They may or may not reach the floor. That's okay either way. Full breath in and long breath out. Start to lift yourself into a tabletop. You can keep the bolster if you'd like. We're going to tuck the toes under. So as you can, knees stay close together, big toes touch. So as best you can, tucking all your toes forward, and you can lean back, start to sit on the heels, and then make sure those little toes aren't being too sneaky and sticking out to the sides. So this might be where you stay. Squeeze your heels closer to one another. This will target the weight down the big toe. If it's available, you can walk your hands up onto your thighs. Drop your shoulders. If you're in between wanting to be here and leaning forward on your hands, your pillow or bolster underneath your knees will decrease the intensity and the angle at your toes, which might make it easier to stay here longer. Take a deep breath in and long breath out. Now, a little bonus, if you like, maybe you're a rock climber, maybe you're doing this outside of the winter season and you are using, or maybe when you're skiing, maybe holding poles. This is a little wrist stretch that you might find that you enjoy. So we're going to extend the arms straight out in front and then flip the palms so they face out to the sides with your thumbs down. Cross your right wrist over the left and then interlace your fingers. Scoop your knuckles towards your chest, dropping your elbows, and snug your hands right up against your sternum. Now this is a deep stretch for the wrists, so please don't force it, but start to move your hands away from your chest as though you're attempting to straighten your elbows, but keep your hands interlaced relatively tight. This should stretch the wrist that's closest to you the most. And maybe, just maybe, distract from your toe stretch. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. We're going to extend the arms back forward, keep them interlaced, and then just lift up onto the knees. So a tall kneeling position, just give yourself a little bit of a break. Bring your heels back in and sit back down. Now we're going to change the cross of the arms. So unlace your fingers, uncross the arms, the palms are facing out, thumbs are down, and then we'll go left on top of right, interlace the fingers again, and scoop your knuckles towards your chest, drop your elbows, relax your shoulders. Full breath in, long breath out. Start to extend your arms away from your chest any amount. My left wrist is a lot more sensitive than my right wrist, so you might notice some asymmetries as well. Do not focus on comparing the two sides. Just give them the same amount of attention and smooth out your breath. Another deep breath in and out. And we're going to come back up into a tall kneeling posture, extending the knuckles forward, coming off of the feet. Release your arms out and up to the sky, full breath in. And as you exhale, come forward into your tabletop. Knees either on your bolster as long as you're balanced or on the mat. Untuck your toes and tap your feet out against the floor. That was a long time stretching into those toes. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. Now for this next stretch, if you are or could be pregnant, please don't do this one. Do one of the postures or stretches that we did before, and then in the final stretch that we do for our ankles and our feet, you're welcome to join us back in again. So I'm going to turn to show you the setup of the ankles. Again, we're going to sit with the knees quite narrow and cross the right ankle. So the narrow part of your right shin sits across your left Achilles, right where your Achilles and your calf connect. And you're going to work towards sitting back on the legs with your ankles crossed. Now, if you feel a little bit lopsided, that's no problem. If you have props that you'd like to use, you can take them to your sides. You might even lean a little bit of weight onto them, so that's totally okay. And use your own discernment as to how long you want to hold this for. Maybe 5 to 8 breaths. If you're feeling a little bit of, I'm gonna cut that. If you're feeling a little bit of aversion to the discomfort, breathe deep. Know that that's part of this. Shouldn't be painful, strange and uncomfortable, yes, but it shouldn't hurt. Let's take one more breath. And then start to come forward. As you lift up off of your ankles, we're going to lift the feet and just give the feet and the ankles a little roll before we switch sides. So we're going to go left shin across the back of the right ankle. So again, this is where the calf starts to narrow. You shouldn't feel like you're sitting too much on your heel. Begin to walk back. Sit tall. If that aversion kicks in, it might even kick in faster the second time. Turn your palms up. Create a gesture that you're open. And find a steadiness in your breath. And just let your weight melt down over your feet. Let's take 3 more breaths together. If you're leaning onto props or you even have your hands on the floor, it's a perfect place to start. Just start where you're at. Slowly coming forward, off of the ankles, lift your feet and float them around a little bit. Something that I like to potentially add in here is one more toe stretch that's symmetrical, sitting back to the heels. If you needed a moment to get off your knees, you could stretch into a downward dog, relax your neck, maybe walk the feet out a little bit. So whatever you feel like you need to do to just neutralize your body, have a little change in the shape that you're in, take your time. When you're ready, you'll come back down onto your knees, and we've got one more to do with feet. So if you skipped the last one with the ankle stretch, because you may or may not be pregnant, then this one will be safe for you. So again, I'll turn you so you can see where my feet are lining up. And you're going to take the top of the right foot where it's a little bit bony and put it into the arch of your left foot and then sit back. Try and keep your ankles from splaying out to the sides and keep them a little bit narrow. And you might have to fish around a little bit for an angle that works for you. If you've had ankle injuries or you have a lot of mobility in your ankles, you might notice that the ankles are a bit hard to control. I know I do. So take your time with this. We want as much of the bony part of the top of the right foot sitting into the arch of the left foot. And there's a strong energy point, a marma point there that can feel sensitive. And if you do notice any sensitivity or even a vulnerable feeling around your joints, just know that those sensations, being sensitive or being vulnerable, are not bad qualities. They're actually very important qualities. Take one more breath. And then we're going to lean forward. Come onto your hands. Lift your feet. Give them a deep flex and point, and we'll alternate. So the sole of the right foot is going to cradle the top of the left foot and try and get the bonier part of your left foot into the sole or the center of the instep of your right foot. Again, you might want some bolsters or blocks here to help balance your seat if you do feel like one side's quite different to the other. And by all means, if you feel like there is a more intuitive way to do this or a slightly different alignment with how they're crossing over, you just switch it up. Your yoga mat and your time exploring postures and stretches and movements on your mat is an experiment. Use your mat like a laboratory, and you just find what works best for you. And if you find something you really love, share it in the comments below. Take a nice deep breath. This can make the temperature rise in the body, so make sure the breath isn't getting choppy or ragged. And when you're ready, we'll come forward off of the feet one more time. Lift your feet, give them a little flex and point, and one final time into the toe stretch. Big toes touch, knees touch. All your toes are curled forward, and we're gonna sit back. And this might feel quite intense, but it's gonna open the calf, the ankle, and the bottom of the foot, where we just explored all of those pressure points. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. Relax your shoulders. One more time. Deep breath in and long breath out. Come forward onto the palms. Tap your toes out if that feels like the right thing to do. And then come around to a comfortable seat. And if you need to add anything else into your movement here, I might even suggest finding one of our other videos to watch and find a few more moments just to yourself and take care of your incredible bodies. Thank you all so much. Well done.